can't even remember who threw stuff in the pit or in the tray. And then I poured alcohol on it, and I put it on the top step and lit it on fire.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bronx Backstories. I'm Sweeny Murti. Sometimes what I like to do in this series is just say, you remember that guy? What's he doing now? That's why we bring in from the bullpen, Scott Proctor. Scotty, how you doing?
Good, man. How y'all doing?
Doing great here. I guess the first question anybody really wants to know is, how's your arm? They used it an awful lot in New York. How's it feel?
Man, I can still do the multiple functions that I need to nowadays, but throwing BP to the kids gets kind of interesting, but no, everything's good.
Mariano Rivera is a guy that you spent a lot of time with in that bullpen. What are some of the things that you guys talked about, whether it was about the game, away from the game? What do you remember about those conversations with Mariano?
You know, the one thing that you always knew is when Mo spoke, you listened. It was always impactful, whether it was the first day of spring training when he told us we're going to do PFPs like it's Game 7 of the World Series. Again, just being a consummate professional in everything you do, from dealing with the media, things he taught me to how to talk to you guys, to go about your business, on and off the field. And I was definitely not leading down a great path at some point, and he smacked me across the head and said, "Stop, you're an idiot." So Mo is, again, one of the great guys, and I try to use those stories with some of these younger kids of getting them to understand that, it's more about being an adult and a professional than just a baseball player.
When did Mariano have that one conversation with you?
It was in Baltimore. I still remember. He told me after BP, we're going to take a walk up to the bullpen. Mo looked at you as a person, first and foremost, above as a player. And so, if you were doing things that you shouldn't have been, and for me, it was off the field. I was definitely staying up too late and partying too much. And, he was just one of those ones that says, even as a person, forget the player side, even as a person, I know you're better than this. You need to set a higher standard. Growing up, hating the Yankees, I hated the Yankees. I was a Braves fan, no offense. Now becoming a huge proponent of the Yankees, it was just about, it's a high standard. You have the standard of excellence. It's the best in everything. It doesn't matter if you're, playing in the World Series and you lose, as Jeet said, unless you're the last team shaking hands at the end, it's not a successful season. And I've taken that into everything that I do now in life, and current profession and coaching. And I try to tell the guys, it's not just about, going out there and doing the best you can. You have to have a high standard.
All right, there's one day that kind of sticks out anytime somebody mentions Scott Proctor's name around Yankee Stadium. And it's a day that didn't go particularly well for you on the mound, and maybe it was a tough stretch. And all of a sudden, you look down from the press box, and in front of the Yankees dugout, there's a little fire burning. Scott Proctor has set things on fire. Uniform, gloves, spikes, I don't know what was in it. What? Okay, it wasn't the uniform. You're going to correct me right there.
Wasn't the uniform. Don't get me in trouble now.
Tell me what happened.
No, I've always been a big jokester. I wasn't one of the most vocal guys. Especially as you know, Sweeney, with dealing with the media, but I always tried to keep things light. One of the things that, again, all the guys instilled in you, when it's game time, it's game time. It's not screw around time. It's you go out there and do your job. But you got to make things light. Baseball's always been a game of pranksters, and as you talk to older guys, I'm sure there's stories. And one of the things that we always talked about was sacrificing to the baseball gods. Just kind of a running joke. So I had done this thing years before where I get the big metal food trays, and I just have guys throw stuff in, and we're going to burn it and try to change the mojo. So I went around. I can't even remember who threw stuff in the pit or in the tray, and then I poured alcohol on it, and I put it on the top step and lit it on fire. And I still remember the security guy comes out and goes, "Well, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's all right, man. I got a hose right there. Everything's good." And he's like, and you could tell he was panicked. And we sat down and we started talking, and all of a sudden, I still remember in the other dugout, saw a guy with taking a picture, and he went, "Uh-oh," and I'm like, "Oh crap, now I know I'm in trouble." And then his walkie-talkie started going, and he's like, "Hey man, the media's outside the clubhouse. They want to know what the heck's going on." And I was like, shoot. But that's it. I still remember the news article said Proctor lights a fire under the Yankees. In baseball, if that's the kind of stuff that gets your team going and just changes the mental mindset, it's what you do. You know, from changing the way you wear your uniform to whatever, it's just the grind of the game, and it becomes monotonous. And if you don't do things to have fun and joke with guys, it's going to burn you out. But I'll tell you another added thing to that story. We were with the Dodgers. We had a lefty named Joe Beimel, and we're in Wrigley shagging for BP, and I'm standing next to Beimel, and we're talking, and I hear, "Hey, Proctor." And then he says, "Hey, Beimel, are you sure it's that safe to stand that close to Proctor? You might get caught on fire." And I turned around and I'm like, "I want to buy you a beer, man." That was the best one I'd ever heard.
Well, Scotty, I think fans like two things from their players. They want effort and they want to know they care. And I think you gave both to the fans in New York and your other stops. Nobody can accuse you of not being one of those guys. Thanks for all the years. Thanks for sharing some memories, and continued good luck to you and the kids you coach down the road. I'm Sweeny Murti. This has been Bronx Backstories.